HoloNet Marauders.
Come on, New Zealand, try something new.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hey. I forgot to ask how many times I was gonna get bombarded with that today.
Honestly, after last week, I'm like, I think the bit is done, but I have this one last one.
I was gonna say the bit was done like earlier. Like, oh my god, I am crying. There are tears in my eyes.
The bit is never done.
Sounded just like Tamura, right? Pretty good.
Just like it wasn't him.
Pretty good.
Really?
I liked it.
I think I nailed the part, and I even added like waves crashing in the back. So there you have it, guys. That intro makes me a little teary-eyed though, because this is our last HML for a little bit, maybe at least for Bad Batch chat.
Last Bad Batch chat for a while, at least until season 2.
2022.
And then when the other shows come back up. But last Bad Batch chat for a while.
Nope.
Oh, bye, Johnny.
Nope.
I saw that a new thing come in.
That was so funny. My Wi-Fi crashed.
We're breaking the internet one video at a time.
You're breaking my internet, yeah.
So chat, before we get started, not Chad, because I see Chad there.
Chad,
but
just referring specifically to Chad, just him.
I tweeted out that we'll be doing a giveaway during this. We'll be giving away one of our lovely Hunter headbands. So to enter that, go to our last podcast video on YouTube. I shared the link there. It's the Nest of Gundarks with Dallin, podcast 39. Go there, comment batch. Capital BATCH, and you'll be entering
lowercase bad.
I don't know if it'll matter. I think it'll have to be. Let me type it in.
It's quite
here.
the rules, AJ. You told me you had this.
When you said capital BA, lowercase
grammatically
b,
correct.
Capital C, lowercase
so
b.
Just
all
batch.
There you go.
Do I need to include the quotes?
Batch. No quotes. No quotes. But yeah, go there. And
what if I want to include the quotes for extra?
No duplicates and no disintegrations. So
no disintegration.
Oh, now I'm definitely out.
So I'll bring it up a few times as we get people in and out of here. But yeah, go enter that if you want a free headband. And it's kind of I figured it's my way to thank everyone for showing up and supporting us through this and whatnot. So there you have it. Yeah. But let's talk some Bad Batch, guys, because it was the finale.
Sure. Right, so spoiler warning for the entire season. Let's just go off the bat. Did you guys notice that when they show Rampart in the beginning, there's an alarm going off on the Star Destroyer?
Yeah, why was the alarm going off for them?
It's not like
going. It's not like they were under
alarm.
attack.
You know,
we're just totally blown up to Poker City. Alarm, blown
man,
up.
That was all clones on that Venator too. That was rough.
That one clone too.
That reporting
alarm
was
for the clones.
He was not
shed a tear. Shed a tear.
He did.
It's like your city's being blown up.
He was sad.
That's that alarm.
That's my house.
That is where I grew up.
That's my house.
Yeah,
that's my house.
Blew up my house, dude. What happened?
It reminded me of when our boy Hauser, almost said Ballast as always, when he gave that speech.
Ballast gang.
And how you can kind of get through to these clones maybe pretty easily, some of them. So he sees his house being blown up and he's not too happy about it. So
that's my house.
Those blasters,
that's my house you just blew up there.
Bolts were just ripping through Toboka City though. Like,
oh my god,
the imagery was just incredible.
Yes. Water physics. Wow.
The water physics were especially. I noticed them especially when they were underwater. There was a part where they were underwater. Like it was really, really, really good. The room was filling up. So
there's a lot of like really, really good. This episode definitely showed just how far the animation has come and just how like beautiful it was, because like water is notoriously the hardest thing to animate ever.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it in this episode, and like it was really, really good.
They're
like,
literally on a water planet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously. But
it was
even like Omega's hair was like drenched the entire time, which like and it looked really good the entire time because
the water droplets off the armor and stuff. It was so cool.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was sick.
Yeah.
It was
love
go
those
ahead,
details.
I was just gonna say I want to get this out here early. AZ more like MVP. Like it's gonna come up again,
AZ more like
could not have done it without him.
AZ more like Shock T, considering how many times he's almost died. Like it's nuts.
Is it the
he said
third time?
It's like his third time. He's been like, is AZ dead? No.
He almost Yandu'd it this time. You know.
All right,
so
he kind of died
Ran out of
twice in
battery.
this show, and then in Clone Wars, so it's 3 times.
Yes, you know what's gonna happen? Episode 1 of season 2. Charge. Sorry.
Oh, wait, did we see Gonki?
No, we didn't, but I'm
was a
assuming he's
crime.
fine because the ship is
He's
fine.
just sitting
which
on there
I
on
was
the
very
ladder
happy
going,
about.
What if when they flew away, like when Omega's like, "You're still my brother, Crosshair," and they just get on and like they all move past, and Gonki's just sitting in the stairway, just staring at Crosshair, just like, "Please come back."
I know what she did.
And that's what brings him
She
back.
did. Yeah, that's what brings him back. Because they all go in, and it's just Gonki left on the stairs.
Yeah, Crosshair
You were
was
my
just
brother
a
too.
stubborn ass this entire episode.
He's just a
I
bad
know.
guy.
He just is an ass.
A bad guy.
He's just a jerk.
He's just a donkey.
That's like what Tex straight up says. Like when they're in the tubes, he's just like,
Oh my
well,
God.
that's just like who he is as a person. And then then it goes into like my favorite quote of like the entire series though.
Thank you.
Even though I don't agree. Shoot, I don't remember what it is now.
I don't
I'm
have
not
to.
defending you.
I don't have to.
I
I
understand
just
you, but
understand
it doesn't
you.
mean I have to agree with
I
you.
Yeah.
There
You
it is.
tweeted
This
it,
is like-
Jamie. You're the one who got all the likes on the tweet.
and it's gotten like it's like blown up, and I'm like, whoa, and like I'm
Blowing
like
up?
struggling.
Just
to,
like
remember
Kamino?
it. Just like Kamino.
Johnny still
I'm
hurts.
sorry.
It's traumatic for me.
Too dramatic for me.
It's too. It's dude. There was so many. Just like I feel like they repeated like one shot like 3 times through the episode, and I like was like, stop showing it.
They did
At
that
one
like a
point.
few times. Like every time they were showing any sort of wide shot of the spaces, they would intercut it a lot. Like they did that running through the room with all of the tubes, like the big room with the tubes. They did that with them looking back at Kamino. They did that of like the wreckage falling to the ocean floor.
Yeah, there was one of the pillars like when like there were bolts like going into the water, and they were like hitting the kind of like poles of the pillars. I guess whatever's holding up the actual base, and they like them blowing up and the thing starting to
The struts.
sink. Yeah,
Right. I had a weird thought. I was
Yeah.
like, man, those are long, but obviously they're on the ocean floor supporting the whole structure.
Right.
But it was,
Right.
it was
Right.
funny.
Like
Props to Mega's voice actor because
yes.
Chill yo.
she
Yeah.
was so
Michelle Ang.
scared, like especially
Bang.
when
Chill yo. Oh,
Yeah.
she's in Shang-Chi.
when the door
Yes.
closed and like
Also-
her, Crosshair and AZ were separated, and the water started filling up. You could feel the panic in her voice.
Yeah, Michelle
Right,
Ang
what
has
up?
done an incredible job this entire season, and it's something that like I needs to be praised like so highly because has just done an amazing job. And this episode was like everything obviously coming to a head. I going like that scene exactly, Jack, of Omega rescuing Crosshair. I was losing it because like we have like Omega just like pulls out like her bow to like start like shooting at him, and then
Trying everything.
Yeah.
I got
I
Crosshair
thought
like
she lost the
jumps out of
bow,
his
too,
skin
But
because
she got
like
it back.
it's like the bolts just happen. It scoots through the door with them because she has it at the end, I guess.
Convenient, yeah.
Yeah. That
Lot of
entire
convenience.
sequence just like is so funny to me because they're like, oh, Omega's trapped on the other side of the door, and then Tech's like, well, I can't do anything, and Wrecker's just like, I got this, just like stabs the door.
It was funny that Miga's really panicking because like she even like went down to try to pull the door open. It's like, you're a little kid. Come on, think about it. You're not.
Well, she's a little kid, but she's probably like triple the age of the Bad Batch.
Right. We got a
But then she
confirmation
starts
that she
thinking-
is older.
Yeah.
Right. She at least like then goes, okay, no, I know what I need to do. What I need to do is have AZ help me.
She
get
knows
the
what she
wreckage
needs
off
to do,
Crosshair.
but
That's
she
the
doesn't know if she has
priority.
the strength to do it.
Yeah.
She
definitely doesn't have
knows
the
she
strength.
doesn't have
I
the strength to
should've
do it, but she's gonna try.
Omega was all business. That's for
He
sure.
Firing on
I
all
love
cylinders.
I love how they did the finale because I remember last week we were like, "What the heck's gonna happen?" Like this seems like the big bang, literally, of the season. Kind of the season finale thing. And I love how they turned it into like a Titanic, Poseidon. If you guys have seen the movie Poseidon, kind of thing where escaping like a sunken vessel. It was just really cool. It was unique, but simple.
Didn't
Simple
Sean
but
Bean
unique.
play Poseidon and Percy Jackson?
I think he did.
There we go.
I have
did.
no idea.
Why
There was
are
a
we
cool
making this
moment.
connection?
This-
But okay.
Yeah, what
The score
I was gonna-
was really intense as well. There was
I have to
actually
fill in for Matt, okay?
There you go.
It was
There you go.
a really interesting motif that sounded a lot like Civil War, actually, from Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then it twisted into the Force theme a little bit to like give some inspiration of hope, and it's just like this cool little moment. In the
Oh, I
story
heard.
really
I
loved.
heard when they were running through. It sounded like the episode 3, like almost like Anakin's dark deeds. That's what I heard.
Okay, a little reminiscent of that. Yeah.
There's
This
always
whole
a blend.
season they've pulled from the prequels, especially in terms of music choices, in ways that's been really great.
Yeah.
To go off Dylan here, I don't think she has the Force. I mean, I lost that theory a long time ago.
Same.
But I mean, who knows? I think there's still a mystery about her.
Well,
weird-
I
Yeah.
certainly don't think she has the Force because it's very likely now that Grogu himself will be in the show. So it's like you
in
don't
some
need
way,
the
shape, or
same-
form. Yeah.
literally the same character twice again.
You
and I
think
it's just
Grogu's gonna be in?
Bad Batch?
Oh, I don't think
Why?
that. personally.
Why?
What do you, I mean?
Because of
The Pershing thing. She's
Yeah.
I love these
she,
reactions.
Well,
Why?
Pershing, sure.
Oh.
But
she has the
I
exact same
didn't
outfit
even
that
think of
Pershing has on.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
we know Ahsoka's like, you got taken from the temple, and then
Yeah.
stuff went dark for a
And-
while.
Right.
Where was Grogu? I feel
Mhm.
like inside secret Imperial cloning facility where they're wearing literally the exact same
That's
outfit
a-
as Dr. Pershing.
That would make
I would
sense.
like that,
Probably
'cause-
where he would be.
this whole
I
time,
didn't think
people
of
are
that.
like,
Point.
people are like, oh, a Jedi or someone good saved Grogu.
Right.
I know we're a little off topic here, but like, what if like literally just the Empire took him because they took over Coruscant there pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
they killed all
they're testing on him, but then
I mean,
someone saves him from the lab.
Ahsoka says stuff goes dark in his brain.
Right.
I feel like going dark would be if he's in this like facility for a couple decades and then he gets out and he's like, I'm still a baby, I forgot everything. Like I it's
Well-
like it's rough.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it could have been like someone saved him and like cut him off from the Force, kind of like Seer did in
Yeah.
Fallen Order. Although she did that to herself because she was
Mhm.
strong enough to do that. But I feel like someone may have like done that to Grogu, like put like literally like a block in his brain and been like, all right, we're gonna like shut you down until like someone can like unlock you again in the future. And then
Yeah.
maybe like that was like came into like play.
Either way, Filoni is like not even tentatively. I mean, he wrote that Ahsoka episode, and he is involved in the creation of the Bad Batch. He knows like the overarching broad story. Obviously, Jennifer Corbett is the head writer, and she's writing most of it. But like,
Mhm.
he's still the executive producer and the creator, and is now like a story executive. He obviously is in giving input. It's similar to how George was during the original Clone Wars. And so I don't think he would write that line that Ahsoka has about things went dark for a while without him already knowing what that story is. Because like he
Right.
directly wrote that line. He created that, and he created Grogu along with Jon Favreau. He knows what the story is in his brain, and I feel like putting it in this kind of it makes sense to me. I don't know, throwing it back, and that you don't accidentally animate like the exact same outfit Dr. Pershing has down to like the way it folds on like the
Well,
neck. I'm like, it's the
I-
same. Like they want to evoke the same thing. You go, oh, that seems familiar.
It's the
So that
Imperial
part, that's-
cloners outfit.
I don't think that outfit really just nails it down to okay. Well, now Grogu has to come into the show.
Well, exactly.
I'm very skeptical of that because I mean, I don't really think that Grogu was with a bunch of mercenaries. For 50 for like what do you call it, 20 years or whatever. But I think it's less likely that he was already in the Empire's care because. I mean, like it's possible. I'm not ruling it out, but I don't think it's like that he'll be in Bad Batch just because they have the same cloner uniform. I think that's just meant to tie. Hey, you're gonna see the origins of how Imperial cloning got started, and
Right.
who do
Yeah.
we need to clone at some point down the line? Oh, our main man Palps,
Ghostbusters.
like
Oh,
Exactly. Yeah. I remember very early, maybe in the first like HML we
It's a neat
had.
theory. I hadn't thought of it.
Jack, you were on, and we talked about Imperial cloning eventually. We all had our agreements and disagreements on that, and I think it's pretty clear. We
They're
have
doing it.
a
They're doing
Kaminoan bringing her there, and the Pershing out.
Against
It all
her will.
lines up. Whether against her will, whether it's Grogu or connecting to Grogu with, they used Grogu for the M count, whatever that is, and the connections to Snoke,
Wow.
Palpatine, whatever. So
Whatever.
I mean,
that is.
it's all connected.
See,
I would
Jack,
think.
This is what I wanted to say earlier to you because I know I'm fairly
Cloners.
positive you'll understand what I'm going to say here. I've been seeing this a lot on the interwebs. There've been videos made about it. People all have said that they think that mountain is like Wayland, Mount Tantus, like that, and it's like one of the Emperor's cloning facilities. I'm like, her. I'm like, oh, that's a good theory. For those who don't know, that's where in Thrawn trilogy, they sort of like that's where Palpatine kept all his cloning material.
Is that where Luke?
That wasn't
is
on
made?
Tython, was it? Are you talking about where Sabaoth hung out? And
Yeah, it's on
was just
it-
being
yeah, it's
crazy.
on Mount Wayland or whatever. Yeah, in Tantus.
That was on. Oh, in Tantus, right?
Wayland. Yeah, but like the mountain, you don't have to know the rest of the story. The relevant point for like the transition into canon is that it's where Palpatine had a bunch of. It's where Palpatine had a bunch of cloning stuff, and I feel
There's
like
no record of that system here. You don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
But yeah,
insane.
to go back to Bad Batch.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get to
this is
that
in Bad
ending.
Batch. I think it's in Bad Batch. Yeah.
No, yeah, I know.
thought-
Go ahead,
We
Jack.
don't know.
I want to complain about the tunnel. I thought the tunnel was incredibly convenient. That they just happen to fall in the tunnel, and that it's just fallen enough on it so that it's not crushing it because it's glass, and like they show so many times that the glass is cracking, but it fell on it just right.
What did that remind me of? Like
fused right into it. I don't know.
movie.
Like
The Meg.
I'll let it go because like they
The
do
Meg.
have
any shark movie.
that
Any
point
shark
earlier, that point later where
What was that
where
creature,
it
by
is
the way?
destroyed. But I was like,
That's a
Yeah,
good question.
We have a picture,
So-
right, Jamie?
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it
there's
confirmed
one in
my
there.
fears about Kamino because I've been fearing like ever since episode 2. I'm like, what's underneath the surface? What's under there? And there's a couple episodes like Fives, Obi-Wan, a couple people get fall in Clone Wars and underwater, and I'm like, what's under here, guys? This could be a problem. And now I know. Now I know what could have been.
It's big old turtles.
Yeah. Well, it's giant turtle.
Where is it here, Jamie?
It reminded me of a fusion of the 3 monsters that we see in the Naboo core world. Like it had like
Yeah,
the
it was
kind of
very
paddles
similar to
of
that,
the
yeah.
first
At
smaller
first, I
one.
thought it was a Sando Aqua
Snoot.
monster. Yeah.
Mm.
You got the Sando Aqua monster, the Kolo clawfish, and the OPC killer. I believe those are the 3.
Yeah, it had kind of a mix of all 3. I thought.
Good point.
I like
little eggs.
Anelio's thing here. We know Nala Se has a soft spot maybe for kids of sorts. I don't know. And she's kind of a good person down to her core, I would say. And maybe she kind of does the same thing to Grogu that she did to Omega and gets
if we're
the kid
going
out of
there,
there.
I mean, Order 66 wasn't, hey, kill all the Jedi except the one that looks like Yoda. He's cool. Like it was kill all the Jedi.
Yeah,
there
I
was
feel
no
like there's
room
something in the middle,
for-
in the middle there.
There's
if
no
it-
gray
if it's
area
true.
in that
Maybe because he's
Yeah.
a baby, they felt like, oh, he's no danger to us. Like
I want you to
I
tell.
think
Ask
the
my man
bounce-
Anakin about that because he had
Yeah, I
no
don't
qualms
know,
with
man.
younglings, my friend.
I think to bounce off
Just
of this,
like,
I think we gotta
not
think
even
of
hesitation.
we got to think of what Galen Erso does because it'll be very similar to that, in which like he wanted to do his own science projects and research projects. The Empire finds out what his like things are and what he can actually do, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do this and build a planet killer," and they're like, "Well," he's like, "Oh, no, I can't let this happen," and which is why he builds the flaw. So I think that maybe what Nala Se might end up doing is she does her own cloning projects, and the Empire's like, "All right, you got to do this," and she's like, "Oh no." So she's gonna build her own exit strategy. Essentially, I think that's what that will be, or like some sort of her own like little plan,
And to keep
or
the,
make sure that
blackjack and hookers.
to keep the cloning talk within the context of Bad Batch, I rewatched last week's episode, and Rampart has a line to Tarkin, which I didn't catch the first time, where he says that. But in this episode, you get even more exposition that all of the cities on Kamino are gone. But
Yeah.
last week, he says to Tarkin that all of the scientists have been secure. It's not just Nala Se. They took all of the scientists, and they're like, we got them all. So it's not that they're like they may have blown up Kamino, but they're not ending the cloning thing. Like they're really making a point that nope, we got all the scientists, and you obviously literally the last thing you see in the show is Nala Se being like getting told, we got plans for you. And so last night I was really anti it tying into anything in the sequels. I thought, like I don't think it's there yet. I think it's going to be its own thing. But after thinking about it, I don't know. I think they might be going that way. I think they might be going.
Really?
Half of my
This
theory about
early, though?
Palpatine starting the cloning process for himself is coming true. I mean, Omega may not be involved, but just saying.
going which way, Levi?
Well, I initially last night thought that to keep it contained within the context of the Bad Batch, whatever's happening in that mountain is probably just going to be like, oh, they're doing a new super soldier thing, and it's a new project that the Bad Batch themselves and Rex can counter, and that way it's sort of like is this neutral thing where it doesn't affect any of the movies. It's just its own thing contained within the Bad Batch. But after thinking about the whole like really seeing, and I keep bringing up Persian because I literally stared at this man's outfit for like
right
15 minutes earlier, and then looking at what I saw and like the way they talk about it, and then rewatching the last episode and the way they talk about the clones, I'm like, there's and the Kamino scientists, I'm like, there's something more going on here. There's clearly something more that I just don't know the full context of yet, but I think they might be going for the like the broad overarching Palpatine thing.
I think so too.
I think
Yeah,
that's
totally.
abundantly clear.
Chad brings it here, and I saw it
So-
on your live stream last night, guys.
Yeah.
Is it Riggs, your other friend there? Sorry if I get the name
Gibbs.
wrong. Gibbs. Riggs.
Riggs.
I don't
Riggs.
know. Close.
I'm gonna tell him that.
You can tell him. My apologies.
Close.
Though.
Riggs.
But Gibbs, I think, brought up how it connects all these things, and it has, it connects.
It's
what?
simultaneously a Clone Wars sequel, a Rebels
Right.
prequel, and connects to the sequel.
It's the cheese of the nachos.
It has a lot of connective tissue with a lot of stuff.
A lot of Star Wars.
I don't know if I'm like fully convinced that like it's about the Palpatine like thing. I mean, like it's definitely a cloning facility, but I just don't
It's
know.
the popular. It's the
if they're
popular
quite
route
there
these
yet.
days.
Yeah,
Right.
I
I
don't
think
know.
that-
Like, not
that's
above
their
going
overarch-
like, hey, can you just clone me a little something on the side?
I think that's their overarching goal eventually.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
it's
but
just probably
I
like
just-
secrets.
Yeah, I'll put it this way.
Right.
I'll put it this way.
So,
I don't think they're working on the contingency right now, but I think whatever research they do here within the context of canon will
we'll
assist with that
further
later on.
Yes. Yeah.
I am honestly the most on like the Grogu train, and Palpatine is probably in the phase of I want to clone Force users, and that would be pretty cool for me. He's like, I want my
Yeah.
Sith acolytes, and like because that's something you see with the Inquisitors, and he's like, you see it when he's taking the kids all the time in Clone Wars and in Rebels. He's like, give me the kids, I want little Sith babies so I can control them.
Right.
If he can get if he can successfully replicate
Yes.
midichlorians and be
Worth a
like,
shot to him. Yeah.
give me a Sith army, which is something he ultimately tries to achieve in Episode 9. He's like, screw it, screw all this political stuff. I'm just Sith. I am the Sith. Like, we're just doing full Sith this time.
I'll do it
guys."
myself.
Like, he wants to get to that
Do you-
like
do you
Sith
guys
eternal point. So I think it could just be one of those.
Do you guys think there was any significance with like on the plan just seeing like clone commandos? Like, do you think that has any significance towards like maybe there's like some kind of project with clones, like meaning like the stormtroopers, the clone commandos, whatever they're doing, or like I don't know, because I was a little.
I find
like,
it interesting that Nala Se was
Yeah.
escorted by clone commandos in the first
Yeah.
place because they kind of
right.
came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's just
what
been
happened in
showing up
between?
lately.
Where were those guys
Right,
stationed?
right.
Who's
what
manning
I'm
this
getting
current
at.
station? So like
And they had different markings too. Which
They
is
did.
always just like a
Yeah.
slight.
They
like,
did.
I'm a nerd thing, but
So
the
I-
fact that they had different markings made it seem like, oh, this is important.
that reason made me think that
Different stripes
like
of gray.
this was more of a tease towards something with clones
Yeah,
or
definitely.
something like that.
I like literally was
Um,
trying to write trivia last night by like doing a quick like mini rewatch, and I like could not like come up with things that like made sense. And I tried phrasing a question about like, oh, how many different clone units do we see that have like specific markings like within the
Yeah, we
season?
were going to sleep and we're laying
Literally
there.
going to
and
sleep,
like,
but I'm like,
one eye closed, and you're like, "What do you think of this trivia question?" I'm like, "I don't know."
made no sense.
But
Do you guys
Yeah.
think that the cloning and everything is going to be like a big part of season 2? Do you think like
They're clones, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, but like cloning?
Yes.
Now let's say, and the
Yes.
Imperials,
I know how you're saying.
you
Yeah.
think the Bad Batch will be like trying to
I
sabotage?
mean, this is
their
really
cloning
all we
efforts?
have to go off of for whatever season 2 is gonna.
Well, here's
the
some,
last thing we were
going to
shown.
be
Here's
going
some-
on
could
in
be like the
season
White
2.
Walker thing of this show. Like,
Ooh.
Like,
it's
we don't
kinda
have
there.
much. We don't have
What
much for
teased and then
ideas.
never
We do
really
actually.
paid off
Hold
until
on.
the very last
Hold on, though.
moment.
We do.
Besides
We
that
do.
scene,
We have
and
something.
like
We
the
have something.
relationship stuff. Okay.
I gotta say this. We
go
have
ahead,
something.
Levi.
Because we know that this is animation, and likely
It is
they
animation.
they got approval for season 2 a long time ago. Season 2 was
Mhm.
probably almost halfway in the can by now.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
Kessel Run Transmissions was leaking things,
Mhm.
they very well could have been seeing stuff for season 2. And you know what they leaked? They said Grogu is in the show, and that's
Right.
what they said. And I
And
think
they said that
I think-
the Bad Batch might save Grogu was a theory,
And I think they
Yeah.
said as
it
a
was-
theory.
Right.
And I think they heavily alluded to the fact that that's stuff like that would be in the show. And I think
That would
at
make
the
me
time
grumpy.
that they were talking about it is the time that season 2 was the deepest into
probably-
production.
Right.
And I think maybe that stuff was getting leaked to them, and that's what we were hearing about, and not season 1 stuff.
Hmm.
And that's all. I think that's my final word on that. I
That's
think
fun.
I think
yeah.
there's still merit to a lot of their because they're pretty reputable. It's
No,
not
they
like they
are.
don't know anything.
Right.
And
Right.
so I think we could still
Hmm.
see that.
That's
Okay.
yeah. That timeline would line up. So that's interesting. From the time when they reported that leak.
I
and
mean, I'm
stuff.
very curious to find out more about what happened to Grogu between his time in the Jedi Temple and when he was found with all those Niktos.
This would be a great show to do it. It makes sense. So, let's talk about Crosshair, guys.
I'm very curious to find out what's going to happen to the entire Bad Batch and Omega.
Not Crosshair.
But yes, also Crosshair. Yes,
Crosshair can go suck a lemon.
I love how you just pulled up the comment. I was just like, oh, it's like the Finding Nemo. Now what? Because like literally as we were watching, that's like what AJ and I like said like at the same exact time. Just now what? Because they all just like
in
pop
the bags.
Up and onto the surface, and I'm dying
yes,
laughing.
that is exactly.
What killed me the most
God,
though?
That's so funny. Yeah.
AJ, do
Where's
the other
the,
one. What killed me the most was this one because
look at them.
Look at them.
The bobsled
Tech
team.
and Echo are back there.
Yeah.
They look so goofy.
I wasn't paying attention.
And then Tech has the audacity to say, "Well, we need to start paddling."
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah.
Where did Crosshair's sniper rifle come from? Because they get knocked around so much. I never saw him really carrying it. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But he just pulls it out.
Hunter was holding it too.
Yes,
Was he?
In the last episode, Hunter picked it off of his back. He carried Crosshair's backpack and his rifle, and then he was carrying it around the entire time. Crosshair did not have his weapons at all this entire time.
He took it off Hunter's back
once
when they
the tubes opened and Hunter's panicking about to jump in the water. Crosshair's just like, "Don't," and then he's not going to shoot him. But
yeah.
You take things too.
Immediately gives it up. AZ has his Yondu Odata moment.
He does.
I was like nearly crying, and then Crosshair saved him, which I wasn't mad about.
He's there.
He's the eyes below.
I kind of wish he would have died.
Me too. I thought he was
because
I think I would have been okay.
You
with
wish
that.
upon him.
Only because it really, and I said this during a reaction. It really felt like this is the last part of Kamino here. That's really just fading and falling into the sea with everything else. Like this little droid is.
He would have gone down with the
Kamino personified. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think it would have been a nice way to really be like, yeah, this is it for Kamino.
He was happy. He was satisfied. He'd completed his mission, and he knew that they were going to get him safe. So
oh, here's the sea monster.
Yeah, I just added it earlier.
Yeah, there it is.
I hate underwater sea monsters. This gave me out.
Underwater stuff, man. It's scary.
Yeah.
The entire scene though I love how we've just jumped around everywhere. Nothing makes sense right now. I love the entire ending scene though of Crosshair saving Omega though, because he does it and then he looks around at everyone else. I don't know if he's seeking approval from them or something different, but they're all just holding him at gunpoint, and he's just like, well, all right, and then tosses the rifle over to Wrecker. I love the way
look at Wrecker holding. I know. I was going to say, look at Wrecker holding.
I love Wrecker's helmet hat.
Adorable.
I love this shot
the
too.
entire episode.
This was such a good shot. Yeah.
That's not a comfortable way to wear a bucket. So
no, it's not. But he does it all the time because Wrecker is.
Maybe that's why he has a scar. Wearing the helmet all wrong.
Yeah.
Crosshair had this thing. He did this thing 3 times in the episode where everyone's moving off to the next thing, and he's just
he's just thinking. He's doing some deep thinking.
Giving it a good think.
Deep thinking.
Okay, maybe guys, not doing thinking while you're sinking.
That deep breathing reminds me. We had one Echo sniff this episode. Well, we didn't really hear him say it, but he says, "Oh, the smell isn't there anymore." When they walk back into the room, and I was like,
"That's good."
There it is. So
maybe 3 sniffs.
The counter.
Interesting question.
Crosshair.
Will they even bother to pick him up? I mean,
but he thinks that they're going to at this point, which is interesting.
Season 2, episode 1 is just him standing on the platform. A TIE fighter comes by.
It's he's gonna build
the entire season. We cut back to Crosshair, and he's just still on the platform.
He's gonna build a toothpick raft, and he's gonna float around.
He's gonna have a little ball, and
he's gonna be chilling on that platform.
He can just conjure toothpicks. That's his thing. Yeah, he's
he hand. It's like the Jimmy Boo sleight of hand magic. Just whoop, toothpick. Just ready to go. But no, I really don't think that Crosshair is going to be accepted back into the Empire, because the way that Rampart leaves it, he's just like, all right, let him die with the rest of the clones. And
absolutely not. I think he's going to be
the one person on his squad. Ooh, I like that. The one person on the squad that witnesses Crosshair with the rest of the batch.
You need a Black Series of Echo too.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
we haven't. We'll talk
We
about
yelled
that
about that
in a second.
yesterday.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, We'll talk
Yeah.
about that in a second.
We
Wait,
yelled
wait,
about that yesterday.
wait,
yeah.
No,
wait,
Jamie,
wait.
I totally
Not-
Let's
agree.
keep the point.
I'm
sorry.
not done. Don't talk about
You
figures yet.
just popped it
It-
out.
it was
No,
my fault.
to
It was
keep
my
us on
fault.
track, I agree with you,
Okay.
Jamie, because I think that he's been like totally outed at this point as a traitor to the Empire.
Right.
He's not gonna
Yeah.
I don't know, but, like,
his
again,
squad
like,
thinks that he's a traitor because, well, he did kill his entire crew.
Yeah.
They didn't
Alright.
see that, but the one person does like show up and sees that he's fighting with them, so they think by default he like defected and like is working with all of them. And so if they're going to report anything, they're going to report that he betrayed the Empire. And plus, so that's one thing. Plus, Rampart doesn't like clones at all, so like it doesn't matter. So if the crew like does show up to like check for like to scan the wreckage, which I highly doubt because they didn't think there was going to be any survivors. But I don't know. Are they going to be thorough? Like that's
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they said scouts might show up now that they know what the Empire does, because they've
So
shown time and
confident.
time again
Yeah.
that they don't know how the Empire runs things.
yeah.
I just
Oh,
Nope.
what's
Dude,
that? about?
another reminder here for the chat, people that rolled in. We're giving away a headband, free, totally free. Go to our last podcast video. I feel like I'm doing like advertisements here.
That's exactly what
I'll
you're
put the
doing.
link here.
Yeah,
Literally,
you are
literally
advertising.
what it is. Yeah.
Sell it, Daddy.
Put the link there. Nest of Gundarks with Dallin, podcast 39. Go in there, comment batch. I'll spell it out here. Type it in like this.
Batch.
Batch.
There you go.
Capital B, and we'll do a drawing at the end, and you'll win. If you get selected, you'll win the headband. So proceed.
Proceed.
Oh, can you pull up Chad's
there was
thing?
all right. So there was one thing that I was thinking, but just like Crosshair, like I'm just confused
Yeah,
because
I
I
will.
get that like the Empire like kind of disowned him, but like I feel like they'd bring it back up again because I feel like how it was left, it was like Crosshair's like, okay, yeah, I'm going back with the Empire. I'll see you guys later. Like
He
it
thinks
just kind of.
that.
Nah, yeah, he thinks that, but
He
then
thinks
keeps
that.
being
Fascists
I feel like
contemplative
we
and,
should have
like,
got.
Don't
I
take
feel like we should
kindly
have
to
got
traitorous
that.
scum.
Right. I feel like we should have got that at the end of the episode. Was like the Empire is not going to take him back. I feel like that was something that I needed like kind of to see.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like
agree.
I'd be weird if we just open on season 2 and then like Crosshair's back with the Empire. Like it's like,
Yeah,
That would be weird.
I don't
yeah.
know. I
I
don't
think
know.
he should become like an
It
assassin.
feels
or
weird, but
something.
I feel like that's where they're going. And again, like I would much rather like a bounty hunter route with him, but
That's where his
I
style
I
should
feel
be
like
used.
he might be just accepted or back in. I don't know. It's confusing.
No, I feel like he says all that stuff about the Empire before they get into their little chamber there, and that's when he gets all depressed with Omega.
All right.
And he gets depressed again, and then they escape, and then he gets depressed again on the platform, like staring off. He's like, "You guys have to leave me." And Omega's like, "You're my brother," and that's where we leave it. He
Yeah.
stops.
His
her,
change
he's
of
like,
heart is when he rescues AZ and Omega.
yeah,
Mhm.
like he does.
Yeah.
That. I don't think like, and this is what I wrote in my predictions is he won't go back to the Empire, but he can't bring himself to join the Batch again. And I
Yeah,
think that's exactly
which
what's going to
sucks.
happen. He's going to be on his own. He's got to come back on his own time.
He definitely feels as though Omega has replaced him, which is a big driver of why he doesn't like necessarily feel like he belongs back with them. Even though they're all making their best effort to be like, no, like you can like rejoin us. We're not all gonna like it right away, but like you can rejoin us. And it's just difficult. And I still don't think he has his inhibitor chip out.
Really?
Yeah, there really is no scar,
keeps
and it's way too far
grabbing
back.
his head. He keeps grabbing his head. Why? Like I understand in a difficult decision, you're gonna be like, and just like hold your head when you're trying to
Yeah.
think. But like for clone rules, they hold their heads when their chips are malfunctioning or they're
Right.
literally under dire stress because of the chip. And
But what a
Crosshair
weird
continuously
fake out
keeps
as like a
grabbing his
writer to be
head.
like,
It's just like why?
but like
The
that
chip is still in
moment,
his
but like
head.
that moment that because he was still conditioned a bunch. You see that in the first few episodes,
Right,
like
Yeah.
right.
But the fact that he has his chip out adds so much emotional weight to his decisions and gives the rest of the season like an extra point. If we're talking about rating it for me, like it gives it a whole extra point of enjoyment is that he feels betrayed that whole time and wants to get back to them and wants them to come back for him, but they just won't.
Cross.
And like
Here's
Yes,
a
there's
butt.
a butt.
Yeah.
and like we had a
True
lot
that.
of parallels brought up
It
last
was a
night.
bit of a butt.
Like the first time, like we see in the first episode, you see Omega talking to Crosshair like that, and then she's like, "It's not your fault." In the end, she says, essentially says it is your fault. When they're escaping, he's shooting at Omega. As they leave Kamino, he wants to kill her. He's shooting her,
Mhm.
and at the end, she says, "You're still my brother too," and it's almost the same exact shot of him watching them just fly away, but he's not shooting them. He's just like damn. Like I made these decisions on my own at this point. Like at that moment he was being controlled. In this moment he was not. And so there's something about that it adds so much to Crosshair's character for me that if he was still just being controlled, I feel like it'd be cheap. But I don't know. That's just me.
Right.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it. I mean, it would be weird if it was just because that was a big moment when Crosshair was like, I had my chip out like a while ago, and Hunter has the big reaction and whatnot. So I think he does have it out because it's been quite some time now. What we said 6 months a little while ago, so maybe it's about that. But yeah, I think he's just conditioned and he's just an ass. He's a butt, as Dario said there. I think that's just his way. He's a soldier. Yeah. These other guys kind of have a heart and he doesn't. But I don't know.
Yeah, and Hunter made a very clear choice in this episode. Like this whole season has just been about like what's your place, what's the choice that you want to make. And in this episode, he very clearly shows like, no, I am.
I mean, I think they're going straight to Rex from there. I think that's where they're going.
Yeah, Gregor, Rex.
They gotta go back and visit Gregor.
They gotta tell Rex that not only is our home destroyed, but we're joining up with you. Like this, if nothing else was the catalyst all season for them to join up with Rex, this has got to be it. Watching their literal house be blown up in front of them, they gotta go be with Rex, and that for me is where the season 2 has to take them. And speaking of seasons, like we talked a lot about this last night, but where do you guys rank this compared to other first seasons? How do you feel about it? For me, I think this is the best first season.
Number one. I'd say number one.
Yeah, I mean, it's way better than Resistance, Rebels, or Clone Wars. So
it's tied. It's like so close between Rebels and this for me, but I give this the edge.
For a first season, yeah.
For a first season.
I think that this is the strongest animated series for season 1 that we've seen yet. For the sole fact that you could, if you wanted to, there is a beginning and a middle and an end of the story, and you could watch it on its own if you really didn't know more was going to happen in the future. And you do see everyone grow through the season, even though not as much as we'd want to with all of the characters, Echo and Tech. But
Techo,
Techo. They're just hanging out in their tube canoe in the background. It's okay.
Good point here. Sorry, Jamie.
So
I got excited.
AJ's always getting excited.
Daytime Kamino. I didn't really think of that as like.
Yeah, we've never seen it.
I thought that in the back of my mind, but I thought I would have been like, I thought you guys would be like, no, we've seen Kamino and Day before, but I was like,
but we have.
I think
we have,
like,
but still.
We have.
We do. You do in Clone Wars.
It's a rarity.
Used the thematic benefit here.
The sunrise
at the end of the Ventress attacking episode.
The battle of daytime, and it's not raining.
Yeah.
That's
which was also probably symbolism then, as like the battle was over. So
yeah.
What was his last head moment? I don't remember. Is it just like they were leaving and he's holding his head, or
no? It's when he's sitting by the glass in their old chamber, and Omega's just basically like, "You're an asshole," and he's like.
He's like, no.
I love when Omega goes over to talk to him. It's like the exact same, at least the beginning of the dialogue of what she says in the cell to him, and he literally starts off with "Go away," and then she's just like, actually. So I love how they did that both times. So
didn't she also do that in episode 1?
Yeah, that's literally what she says.
That's
to
what
him.
I said, and it's also what Jamie said. And
sorry.
Yeah,
no,
I get those.
I didn't hear it right. I thought there was a middle time that she had done it, but that wouldn't have made sense.
No, it's the parallels. It goes to Jamie's point, is where this really does have. If you're watching this as a full picture, as one season, it has a super strong beginning, middle, and end. Like particularly, think about it. You start the show and you're during the Clone Wars. I mean, you have the Clone Wars opening. There's Jedi. You got Depa Billaba, Caleb Doom. You're fighting droids. And then the end here, you're watching Kamino burn, and it's like there is a strong arc of what happened in this show, and it's weird to me that people are like, it's just filler. It's like it's not. I don't understand. Filler. It's insane.
It's only filler if you don't care about what's happening to the characters in front of you. I think because like there's so much character-based drama happening, and like if you truly believe the peril that they're going through, like there's quite a bit to take from this episode.
So again, I feel like I've said this a million times before, but there's no pressure to like every single piece of Star Wars content that is produced. And 100%. The Bad Batch is is evidence of that. It's a show that I have been looking forward to since the Clone Wars arc, because obviously I wasn't super into the Clone Wars when like these were like the lost episodes or whatever. But like since the Bad Batch arc happened, this has like literally been the only show that I've been really, really looking forward to. And now that it's over, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with my life for the next year. Yes, there's more Star Wars content out, but like, and I am excited for upcoming stuff, but like this was what I was looking forward to, and this honestly exceeded my expectations, and I'm just so happy about it.
Yeah, same here.
Definitely exceeded my expectations. I can agree with you there.
Yeah.
However, I am most certainly looking forward to Boba, Kenobi, Andor, all of those.
Yeah, no, but I do agree.
Well.
I do agree.
Season 2, Bad Batch.
Season 2, Mando
Season 2,
3.
Bad Batch.
Yep.
I think it goes back to like you find the characters that you like relate to the most and that you like the most. And like for me personally, I like never really connected with anyone like in Mandalorian. Like I love the Mandalorian, but I never really connected with anyone. I have never connected with someone more in a fast talker info dumping way than I have with Tech. It is absolutely insane. I cannot imagine my life without that as a character now. And I'm just like, what did I do like before this? I don't know. Like, I legitimately don't know.
I think you're wearing a shirt with her on.
I know.
Oh, yeah, there she is.
But that was...
I mean, like, my display is literally Bad Batch and then plus the Rey lightsaber and a Porg. So, like, I do know, like, what it was.
That's your brand.
But it's definitely... It's way different when it's a character who like acts the way that you're used to seeing yourself act. Like that's how I felt with Mando, because like just like he's very awkward as a person and like doesn't know how to handle most situations with people, and I just feel that so much.
Yeah, I feel like with the Bad Batch is it's opened the door for just like so many unique characters in the sense of yes, we're all trying to like fit a mold, but we are also unique in our own way, which is obviously like what the Bad Batch is they're all different. And it's just opened a door for just like so much more. And like, I can't believe that like we got a series like this, and I'm so excited that we're getting more of it. And just knowing that we're getting more of it made this finale satisfying.
Yeah. What was when the season 7 of Clone Wars Bad Batch arc started? What was like the opening little fortune cookie thing that they brought up? It was like we all have differences, or I don't remember what it was.
Differences of others, something like that.
Yeah, and it was like that was
one of the Bad Batch episodes the other day in a post.
It was perfect.
Remember what it was.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
It was nice to have a show that for once really didn't lean on lightsabers. I mean, sure, we had like the beginning with because I mean Order 66, but after that, I mean, not a damn one in sight. We didn't have to deal with Vader or any of this other stuff.
Embrace others for their differences, for that's what makes you whole.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And that's like it was a perfect thing for the Star Wars fandom and just people in general and just the state of the world. And not to go too deep, but it was just a nice little thing. And
you can go that deep.
It's weird. The quote is attributed to Morai, which is a strange. I don't know why that is. Or no, El Moral. It says. I'm dumb. I was like,
oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
The L was small. That's the moral. I was like, Morai.
Same. Filler is a trigger word.
Get that out of here.
Yeah,
the
whole filler thing. Yeah.
And
get it out. I don't want to read it. I don't want to read the screen.
Those people have good points.
Yeah, I agree with all
unless we're talking about anime.
We don't need to honor them.
That's the only place where I think that term is in any way relevant, because they absolutely do make episodes that are filler. But even those filler episodes are fun, and if you enjoy the characters, there's
filler exists because there used to be like in the 50s and 60s where they would give a writer like, you have to make this many episodes, and so the writer would have to invent like a literal filler in order to meet the quota that the studio gave them.
I think that's where filler has been like,
but now with like streaming shows, that doesn't exist because
the term's just used
cut
wrong
out all the filler.
It's I mean, like I can kind of understand maybe at some points Bad Batch got a little boring. Maybe I don't know, like a little bit. The
only one I can say is Infested.
That I was
the only one. That's the only one I can say felt like it was
Infested.
Yeah,
that is
it. Like I'll be honest, there's a few episodes like they would end and I'd be like, okay, but then I'd go on my day.
Time to go to work.
Like, I still like love the show like as an overall, because I was like I did like enjoy like each episode like as it happened. Like there was moments in which like I was like crying, laughing in pretty much every episode because I find like little movements funny. But like there would be like some episodes it's just like all right, cool, next week. That being said, though, like next week, like I don't know what I'm gonna do at 7 a.m.
Next week.
I have to just go to work and not watch an episode like before. Like what? I don't know how that's gonna happen. Yeah. Also, Matt's just gone.
We left Matt on Kamino.
He'll be back.
So
He's back next week.
Matt from AllNewNerds Marauders is not in this episode. That is
He's
Actually,
stuck on the
he,
platform with Crosshair right now.
That's like something tech. That's like something
is.
Tech would say.
Having
Real
pizza.
Farmboy. That's like a tech line right there.
that is.
Maybe eating pizza.
From the home at Marauders. No, in this episode.
I wanted to go off Jack's point of no Vader and Ahsoka lightsabers, whatever, in this episode or really in this season. And I know we all had the ideas in our head, like, oh, Boba's going to show up, who's going to show up, and I'm glad no one did. I mean, I thought they might have it too, and it would have been exciting. It's the Bad Batch. The show's called The Bad Batch, and it really season 1 at least. Like,
I think Boba will be in season 2 for sure.
me too. Oh yeah, it makes sense.
I
You know,
kinda
him and
wanted to
Omega
look- just to like look. I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to season 2, but like, I wanted to like really like look forward to season 2 with like a tease of like, you know, a big character coming to the fray. of
I don't
the
know.
show.
The whole
You know what
cloning
I mean?
thing at the end. The whole cloning thing.
That
at
was
the
a nice
end,
tease.
and-
That's
Yeah.
true. That
And, like,
definitely.
I mean,
serviced that
we
excitement.
talked for like 20 minutes
So-
about just that, and
That's
like
true.
there's
That's
so
true.
many possibilities there. And
That's a fair point.
the fact that I'm now, I'd say I'm like 52% confident Grogu will be in season 2. It makes me
Yeah.
excited. It's a solid 52. There's
51.5.
Yeah.
51.
I-
Yeah.
30.
I'm
51.99.
I'm feeling like, ooh, that'd be so cool. Because like, what better way to tie in the Bad Batch, which was seemingly when it was announced, seemingly a disconnected piece of media, and for what it's worth, season 1
Right.
being and it's not disconnected at all. Is what it is. I mean, the destruction of Kamino is a huge thing, and but seemingly disconnected when it was announced, tying it into what is so current to the
time
mainstream
jump.
audience.
Hmm.
You know, like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mainstream audience right now is Grogu Mandalorian. Whoa, Grogu Mandalorian, and to make that
Whoa,
like,
Grogu Mandalorian.
and then to tie it into ultimately, which is the big picture,
Right.
the in between 6 and 7, and ultimately the sequels, I think makes it all the more relevant and makes it worth watching for like a completionist fan, and someone who's like, I want to know all the little details. Like, the show is worth watching for that alone if they go in that direction. And so
I
think
feel
that'd
like
be
this
cool.
will evolve into how Rebels is accepted by the Star Wars community, in which an average fan, not ones like us who do live chats about them every time there's an episode, but an average viewer, like the ones
That's
who
not-
like
that's not a
pretty much just
normal
watch the
thing that
Mandalorian
people do?
and Baby Yoda, and that's the thing. They're not going to watch a show like this, and like they don't really like know about Rebels, and like they'll like look into it more if they just want to know more information. That's what unfortunately the Bad Batch is going to become. But at the same time, like I love how it's opening that door for more people though. Like this is it's just so different than we thought it was gonna be, like a Clone Wars, like some carbon copy, but it's not. It's much more.
Its
Even
own
though
thing.
we are getting like the destruction of Kamino and like they obviously everything about the clones, it's not the same thing because it is a different vibe because like we're learning how they're operating outside of it.
And to further, both of those points, is that initially what I was saying, to tie it into something relevant to even more mainstream audiences, Rebels, even Ahsoka, the Ahsoka show is like a sequel to an animated series that not as many people have seen. So we're coming to the
Right.
point where they're valuing the animated content just as much as the live action content in terms of what it adds to story. So
Yeah.
by adding
Well,
a live action storyline retroactively into an animated one that takes place before, it just feels like more relevancy. Everything
I
has
had one
more.
thing I wanted to bring up about the whole Grogu thing, because obviously that was set up. This whole idea of Grogu's origin was set up in the Ahsoka episode, and I feel like I'm wondering whether that'll be shown or paid off in Mando. I mean, obviously we'll definitely get something with Grogu's origin in Mando, but are we going to get that full origin, or are we going to explore it more in something like Bad Batch? Like I don't
See,
know.
on the contrary, if anything, especially now that Luke Skywalker has Grogu, I don't think we'll necessarily even need to get those fine details on Grogu. The point
Yeah.
of Grogu in that show was to grow Din Djarin, and we got that. The emotional
Right.
arc of Din Djarin is so wholesome, and him crying, his little son there as he hands him off to Luke Skywalker, like that moment's amazing, and Grogu delivered on that. But now
Yeah.
Grogu's gone. Grogu's got to go, do some stuff with Luke, and
Do
I'm
some
sure
big
we'll
boy
see
stuff.
that. But
definitely
showing
gonna,
his,
like-
but like showing his backstory, like I think the plot of the Mandalorian going forward is going to be Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah.
Dark
Agreed.
Saber,
Yeah.
Mandalore.
He's
Whereas
more likely to show up in
Bo-Katan,
Ahsoka.
conflict.
Whereas retroactively, you can explore that line that Ahsoka has of, oh, his memory goes dark for a long time, bad things happened, now he's here with you, and that's the story for Mandalorian. They can give that to an animated show which maybe it'll get less viewers, but it'll still deliver honestly a longer form and probably
well, that's what I'm saying.
more
It's, like
extravagant story.
it's such a big
Mhm.
question that I wonder if they'd.
Oh,
if
it's
they'd
definitely
just
going to get
put it
filled
in.
in
I
eventually.
agree. An
An
alien.
Oh,
animation.
certainly it'll be filled
I
in.
agree
I
with
just don't
that.
think it needs to be.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I feel like general audiences like are even questioning, like, oh, what is that? What is his kind of origin? So I was wondering if they were just gonna fully explore it in animation, or again,
I
they
think
will.
less
I
viewership
think
than what we get.
I think the
Mando.
Ahsoka line in Mandalorian is enough for mainstream audiences
I
who
guess.
watch these things once
guess.
and they enjoy it. Ahsoka going, okay, he was a Jedi, someone saved him, now he's here. Like that's
I
enough.
think that's enough.
No, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's
I
enough.
just
Yeah.
purely
no,
enough.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Like you
It's
get
not
it
like-
as a viewer.
It's
you
not
know?
like we
You're
need much background on him. I mean, he's a baby.
Right.
It's like, you know,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's like Ahsoka saying
I know
that
what you
line of
mean.
like, I know how this goes, obviously referencing Anakin and her like
Yeah.
her own not knowing Anakin saved. Like, you can go watch all that stuff in Clone Wars, but you don't need that. You know, you get what the character is saying to Din Djarin, who are like you as a new viewer, uninitiated in some of the animated stuff. You connect to him because he's all new. You go, okay,
Right.
he doesn't know this stuff either. You understand the line of what she's saying. But for us, you know, there can be this cool, like, oh, when the Kaminoans were involved and Grogu was here, and then when the Empire fell, like Grogu got away, and that's how the Nikto get him, like stuff like that. It's like
Yeah.
we can dive into all that, but it's not necessary to make the story work for the live action.
It's
Right.
certainly possible, and one thing that the Bad Batch has done for me that makes that seem more plausible is that you know, when Rebels first came out, a lot of us looked at it as the connective tissue between you know, like the Clone Wars and the original trilogy and all that stuff, and now it's like, well, no, the Bad Batch is the real connective tissue. And
I
like,
mean,
that was
now-
clear as we were watching it, but now it is
Yeah.
like the Rebels is now to me its own thing, and in terms of where it sits in the story.
Well, even more crazy now, it seems like Rebels will be the connective tissue between Kenobi and the original trilogy, because we're gonna have another massive thing with the
that's
main
true.
characters who have
Mm.
Rebels characters in it in the middle, and like we're getting all this. I don't know. There's so much good Star Wars. It's nuts.
Plot twist: Kenobi is like responsible for Grogu ending up with the Niktos somehow. Like, accidentally drops him, and he just ends
Hey,
up
maybe.
with Niktos. That'd be
It's possible.
ridiculous.
But what the? Oh, I was gonna go back to Dario's thing. Do we think there'll be a time jump between
I think a
season
little
1 and
bit.
2?
I don't think it's gonna be
Yeah,
much because I think it's important that they go and regroup with Rex right away, and they also go
This
pick up
one.
Gregor because I mean, like they need to have a scene of Sid and Gregor hanging out, and they just come back, and then Echo's just like, "Oh, Kamino blew up, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and we're fine. It's fine. It's all fine."
I
The
can see
time
them doing
jump-
that. I can see them not doing that. But yeah,
It's gonna start. Season 2 is gonna start with a suit up montage of Omega getting in a giant mech suit.
Ah,
They're gonna
Omega,
take down-
yes.
They're gonna take down. Yeah.
like
The
little
Empire
Steve
Stomper.
and
I think I
Peggy
think I
Carter.
feel like I feel like we could skip past like. Well, I guess we don't really know. The thing is, if they teased where Bad Batch was going, from this finale, I would have been like, okay, I would have been fine with like a time jump over to when we can skip past them, like meeting up with Rex and just like have them just be with Rex and stuff.
yeah.
But I feel like we need to see that. So
If anything, I feel the
I don't
opposite
know.
because they didn't show it, and it's so they're flying off into the sunset. They can pick up wherever
Right.
they want to.
right. Yeah.
yeah, but like
And if-
already established with being with Rex, or like are we
Yeah,
seeing
you
them first see
Pick
each
it up,
other
and they're
again?
with Rex. You can
Mhm.
just do that. I think you established Rex in the show enough as a factor in their life. and
Right.
Echo all the time is like, hey, we should
Yeah.
go join with Rex. Hey, Hunter, pick a side, idiot. And after this, like,
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think,
I mean,
I don't
yeah.
think you need to spend time.
I think they'll have already been with Rex for a little bit and
I'm a-
like mounting up their defenses and
And especially the fact
Crosshair.
that they did the Gregor job. They did the Gregor thing. They still had Rex's contact info. He was like, hey guys,
Yeah, they still
How's
had
it
his
going?
number.
go save another clone
Right.
for me.
we
Haha,
got your
thanks.
guy here.
Yeah,
Can you
like
come
Yeah,
pick
I
him
mean,
up? He
like-
won't shut up.
They could easily Rex can just pick up Gregor on his own. Like we don't need to see that as much as we want to see that. It's probably not.
I
Going
think
to. But
Sid. I mean, I think if Crosshair became a bounty hunter like we think, or something, you know, Sid has that connection to the underworld and bounty hunters and whatnot, and maybe something happens between Crosshair, Sid, and the Batch. Like I don't know. I'm just, you know, we mentioned Sid with Gregor and whatnot, and I'm trying to-
Crosshair assassinates Ruby.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean,
Oh
maybe
no.
maybe Sid would
crime lord.
hire Crosshair to kill Duran or whatever his name was. There.
Roland. Yeah.
Yeah, Roland in the deep.
Duran.
Duran. No.
Rolling in the deep.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sad.
It's been
I'm
16
sad that the
weeks.
season's over.
I know it's been 16 weeks, which is crazy to think.
How has it been 16 weeks? It feels like I was on your show on May 4th, like yesterday, talking about
weird.
episode 1, but
Mm.
and all that Star Wars news we got. What are you singing?
Weird. I don't know. What are
Rolling
you
in
doing?
the deep.
Oh, okay.
The Adele song, Rolling in the Deep.
Another reminder. I feel like this is a good interjection here.
Yep.
Guys, there's 2 or 3 comments over there. If you want one of these bad boys, even if you don't want one, just go. You give it to a friend. Give it to someone. Give it to your dog or your cat or whatever.
EMA is right. Technically, it has only been 15 weeks. Just saying.
Yeah, technically correct is the best.
Next week will be 16.
Okay. All right. 6. Okay. Yeah.
Go to. Let's see if I still have this here.
Kind of crazy.
Go to this YouTube video I'm putting in the comments and comment. Batch.
Batch. Why did you say it like that?
I don't know.
Oh man.
Oh, speaking
Sounds
of
like you're doing shows.
bitch. I love that Omega got to say Marauder in this episode. I just
Yeah, that should have been your trivia question, Jamie. What's the Marauder count? Like how many times did they
I
say
don't
Marauder?
know the answer because I haven't
Ugh.
been able to rewatch the entire season. I think it's close to about 5. Honestly, though,
Marauder.
if I had to guess, maybe 4. Because it's definitely in one episode, Hunter and Wrecker both say it, and then in another episode, Hunter says it, and then in this one,
This is
Omega
this is one
says it.
area of Star Wars where I am definitively sure that Jamie is more knowledgeable than I am.
How many times
Hey,
people
there
say
we
the
go.
word Marauder?
Yeah. The Marauder count, because I challenged you mid-season. And
Yeah, and
Honestly.
that was the episode when they
What
said
was
it
the
twice.
challenge?
How many
I
times?
thought they'd already said it, but
Oh,
I
okay.
was wrong. Jamie
that
was
was-
like, she's on Marauder watch. She knows.
Marauder
We've
I'm
come
always
a
on
long
Marauder
way.
watch.
Levi's giving Jamie the win on this one. That's
Yeah, just
That's
just
kind
for
of him.
Marauder.
Wow.
First,
I would change all my social media accounts to Gem Marauder, but that doesn't really make sense, so it's gonna stay Gem the
Jim
Jedi.
Marauder.
But Gem Marauder is like my title at least, but the accounts are still Gem the Jedi. It's interesting that like I put so much blind faith in the Jedi, right, with all of liking them. But I do love that
That was a
this show pretty much had nothing to do with them. It was just such like a fresh look at things.
Well, you're a big
and I
clone
love it.
person too, so you
Huge
love the
clone
boys.
person.
So.
It's the Jedi and then it's the clones. And honestly, it's the clones.
Come on,
more than the Jedi.
Try something. Bad Batch.
It's funny. The clones have a lot more charisma than the Jedi for the most part,
They do.
which is funny because
Yeah.
They really
Depends on the
do.
Jedi. Kit Fisto is like,
I was gonna say Kid
right.
Fisto's.
Kit
all
Fisto
Jedi
has his own
charisma.
podcast.
That's not fair. He does have Phil Lamar voicing him. You know,
Yeah,
helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
who voices Mace Windu and also Orn Frita, Phil Lamar.
This is true.
Bringing
this
it
is
back.
trivia outside of my way past my radar. I
That's
have Marauder
funny.
radar and that's it.
I just remember during
Marauder
the
radar.
episode with Orn Frita, I kept talking about Phil Lamar, and everyone was just like, "What do you say?"
Yeah, because we're like voice.
it was better than the
actors?
time you talked about
I was
the
I was
height and
picking it
whatnot.
up. I love voice acting.
What was I talking about, AJ?
Oh, the heights.
Well, no, I was.
Oh my God.
I was
In the heights.
In the heights.
Trooper
In the-
Heights.
The Trooper Heights, guys.
Yeah,
guys
Rampart
look.
is like a solid 5.
Oh, I remember that. Oh my god.
Donkey's playing dress up and is wearing Tex hair.
Oh my goodness. He
kinda
looks.
horrible.
He looks great.
But he can do it with Hunter's hair too.
Ramparts are stiff. I mean,
I-
they made a
I
figure
don't-
of that
I
guy,
don't
but
have
not
an
Echo.
opinion of-
I know,
I know,
like,
right?
infuriating.
He likes Law and Order. How interesting can you
Oh,
make?
I got to go
someone
back to a
like that?
comment earlier that we didn't go. Talk
Can I
about.
The
rant
only
now
reason they
about it?
made it
That's
was
his only
because,
thing.
like
I'm
they had
waiting
the
to rant about the
Imperial
Black
costume.
Series.
You
And
can rant
no-
about this. Too.
Oh yeah,
No
yeah.
mouse
So
rides
have you
this either.
Johnny,
Hot toys, what are you
Levi? Have you
doing?
guys learned your lesson about trusting toy boxes and toys?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe this goes to
Yeah.
Levi's point
Yes,
about
they
people have
have.
Season
seen
2.
season 2 with
Season
KRT
2.
and whatnot.
I think it's just the head. It's gotta be.
I'm saying we didn't see any
Toys,
store.
yeah,
We didn't see
the
any
Hot
Starter
Toys
stores.
Echo.
It's just Hot Toys, man. Is like
The
literally.
Hot Toys
I mean,
Echo has all those
like-
those arm attachments.
And that
It's
Black
almost-
Series Rampart
Inspector
figure.
Gadget. Type
they're
in the
almost
Rampart.
never wrong.
God forbid a toy adds an extra attachment to.
Hey,
make it
you're
more
from
The Hot
now.
fun
Toys
for
thing. The
children.
Hot
No,
Toys
but the
thing
Hot
was-
Toys, the
was-
whole
was-
thing. Yeah,
They're so accurate that like I really.
that's
I
their
wasn't-
whole
Well,
thing. It's
hold
like
up,
we're
but
screen
like
accurate.
the toy itself is still accurate, right?
Yeah.
No, well,
it still has all the
well,
accurate
yeah,
parts,
but the-
right?
Right.
Plus
But
a
the
couple
man-
bonuses.
No, the
'Cause
man
it's a
has like a
toy.
sledgehammer arm. Like
I
that's
know.
not the
We didn't
same.
see that. Where does
So-
that come from?
Because
I
it's a toy.
I agree that might be a season 2 thing. I
I
will
think it's
say
gotta be
regarding
Oh, it totally could be a
regarding
season
Hot Toys,
2.
when they announced that the
Yeah.
Cobb Vanth one is getting made, since I've been like
Right.
elbows deep in like making that outfit since like that episode came out, I noticed that the belt was slightly turned just enough where I was like, the belt buckle's missing. Oh my god, where is it? And then I noticed that they just didn't dress it properly. So, but that's
Cobb
a
Vanth?
side thing. That's a side thing.
Damn,
No one ever
Hot
dresses the
Toys.
belts properly.
Cobb is just swallowing you up.
He
Yeah.
is.
He's eating you up. Yeah.
He ain't got time. For...
That's the next
Yeah, I
focus
was
for
mad.
Janet.
But,
I'm a little bit mad about the starter shirt thing.
Yeah, the Star
I
Destroyer
mean,
thing is
That was odd.
baffling.
I knew that wasn't
No
going to be because
mouse
it just didn't seem like enough time had passed for them to R&D an entire new starship and then build it. Like I had enough of a trouble like swallowing the Exegol Star Destroyers. Like that was too
Yeah.
much time. Like and plus it was unspecified amount of time.
Right.
It's never quite stuck for me.
Palpatine had a tough time swallowing those too, but or
What a weird statement.
Wait,
what does
what?
that mean?
Yeah, I
It just
might
meant there was a lot of them.
End the stream on
Uh,
that.
I had a tough time swallowing them.
Is that
Yeah.
really the note you want to end the last Bad Batch
Yeah.
stream on?
No, I gotta
Not
do the giveaway.
really.
I'm doing the
Guys,
giveaway now.
we don't have a Black Series Echo in the works. Omega was announced, but we don't have a freaking Echo.
Right, yeah.
You know,
so-
good old Palpatine swallowing stuff up.
Yep.
Hey, you took
Good
it to another
old-
level.
Good
Swallowing
old
he ate-
shithead
I didn't say
swallowing
You're
stuff
the one
up.
who said it.
I'm just imagining his mouth unhinging
Jack
like
said-
the mummy style.
You said it, Dave.
Crazy.
Oh my
Yeah,
Let's
I
get
remember.
those-
It came from reading a book.
Those batch comments in.
All right, yeah, the last call for batch comments. And so we are giving away a Hunter headband. AJ has been dropping the link in the chat. It is totally free. You just got to go to our last podcast video,
Drop
which
it
was
again.
podcast 39, A Nest of Gundarks. Comment the word batch. You got a chance
Batch.
of winning a headband, and we'll send it to you.
Batch.
Batch.
I was gonna do
Batch.
Camino, but batch.
Camino.
Simple.
Batch.
Oh gosh, I can't
There's a
believe the
vibe
season's
batch.
over though. So how are you
No.
feeling overall? The fact that the season is over and
Sad. But
I
positive.
don't think this. I
I'm
don't
at that
think
point where
this,
there's that
this
empty
season
pit
had
in
an
my
had an
skull.
uplifting ending, so I'm a little sad after.
I think it's
I'm-
enough of an ending.
It was like a neutral
like
kind of, not happy,
Yeah.
not sad.
so.
It
So
is
I've
the
watched
dark
the
one.
episode twice.
Well, no,
so
it went,
far,
it went
once this
straight
morning
down,
once in
and I'm saying
rewatch.
I don't think it went that much back up because the Camino.
You can have the
I mean,
It
it's
has like an
supposed to,
Empire
right?
and
Strikes
have
Back
like a
kind
little
of
bit of like
ending.
a boost.
Yeah.
I mean, like things are getting better. And
It
things
felt
always
like
have
the
to get
Last
worse
Jedi
to get
kind of
better.
ending. That's how it felt for me.
No. Hard disagree.
Why?
Yeah,
Hard
more
disagree.
like Empire. Like they got the crap kicked out of them, but they came out the other side and they're ready for the next fight.
They're alive. Yeah.
No, I think this is
That's
this
how
is,
the Last
Yeah.
Jedi.
Nobody
kinda was.
died.
no, not a-
It is kind of how the
What do
I
you
don't
mean
know if
not
they
a
got the
chance?
crap kicked out of them in
That's
Last
that's
Jedi.
a crazy
Not
thing
at
to
all.
say.
It is. Last
What do you mean
Jedi
not at all?
Empire, they
Luke,
got
Luke
rattled. man.
re-inspires hope in the entire galaxy, and the Resistance escapes, and Kylo Ren is angry. Like, no, the Last Jedi is a positive ending. This is like, as you're saying, Camino Destruction.
donkey inspired
depressing-
hope.
Depressing.
He wasn't even in
Crosshair.
the- he wasn't even in the episode.
Crosshair.
I know.
He's
Not
on the
even.
ship.
Crosshair doesn't
Somewhere.
join back. Also depressing. And then it just ends. This was just sad. I'm just sad.
It could have
It's
been
the
much
sad
sadder
batch.
though. It could have been much sadder because like we could have actually been like dealing with some sort of death or something,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, we were
I
saying it
don't
was
know.
gonna
Nobody
die.
I
got
just
hurt.
don't think.
No,
I don't think.
like,
I don't think this has the uplifting note like Empire or Last Jedi does of our characters being like, on to what's next. This is just like, guys, our
the
house
batch-
just got blown up. Jesus
The
Christ.
batch was
Yeah.
Kinda
never
lost,
on the
yeah.
way to the next thing.
this is enough of a. They're moving on.
No, but they
Yeah,
end,
this-
they all end with tears in their eyes. Omega's
but they're
crying
moving
and
on.
like,
Empire doesn't really have an
It's a feature.
uplifting note.
It's there.
Empire is not
yeah, it
uplifting.
does. They're all like, Luke puts his hand around Leia, and they're like,
hands.
look
with
at this
his
cool.
new robot
And he's
hand
like- he's
because he
like,
just
yeah,
lost
I
it
feel like
because
they're
his
very
estranged
similar
father
endings.
cut off his
New
arm,
robot
who, by the way, he
hand,
found
Echo.
out is a Sith Lord, and
I
he
feel like
lost his
they're
best buddy
very-
Han
No, but the
to
actual
Boba
ending
Fett.
itself, I disagree.
They should have kidnapped Crosshair. I thought the same thing.
I
but-
No,
think,
they
I
gave
think
them
they're
a-
both
I feel
neutral.
like it was
No.
much uplift.
It's super
Lando and
important that
Chewie
they-
are on their way to go get Han. It's like,
it's
yeah.
super important
it?
that they gave Crosshair a choice. It is so important that they gave him a choice again. I think it
True.
is super
Right.
reflective.
Yeah.
of
And
the
he chose
fact that-
no. So it's like,
It's super
Democracy,
reflective of the fact
baby.
they're
So
not
does that
they're not
play?
forcing him to do anything. I think
I'm
that
saying
that
it's-
is the
I'm
most
with you,
important
Johnny.
thing. It's the most important thing that they are like, we're not going to force you to do something. We're going to like let you figure it out yourself, and that is the best thing that you can do for someone. If there's
Okay.
ever in your life,
I
no,
like
I'm
this
serious.
comment. I'm not talking to you. I like this comment because people keep complaining about this. I have to say it. They did use text scanner. They did it in episode 7. They used it and they got the chips out. Everyone's like, they didn't even use text scanner. They did use it.
They mean right now on
Absolutely.
Crosshair.
Oh.
That's what they mean. Because yes,
I guess
I
we didn't
agree.
get
I literally
they
messaged
just
someone last night, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what if they use like tech uses his scanner?" But I think it may have gotten like destroyed in the whole wrecker going
they
like
took-
on a rampage.
They took
okay.
his word at face value, and I don't think that it's part of the problem for them. And honestly, if he's telling the truth and he did take that chip out and he still doesn't want to be with them, I mean, like that means that he's been hunting them at will for this whole season. And like, if I was hunting someone I thought was a fugitive and a traitor and a personal betrayal, regardless of what they thought I should or could do, I would feel weird just immediately jumping back with them just because we all got lauded into the same traumatic experience together.
He still needs to find his place. The Bad Batch has kind of, minus Crosshair, they have kind of found their place. And
there is
Crosshair
no
still
way
needs to find it.
there's no way that if he had his chip in, he would have killed the entire elite squad. There is no way that the chip will allow him to kill.
Okay, that's a good point.
There's
but see, even then,
unless he beat it,
that makes it
somehow
even less
a little
likely for him to feel comfortable with the batch. Like at this point, he's made his call.
I think,
and like
exactly.
his moral disagreement with them.
I agree,
And,
Chad.
like, it wouldn't make sense for him to heel turn and be like, "Oh yeah, I mean the Empire did me a little dirty, so I'm gonna."
And all of the tech lines about understanding but not like agreeing with, like, there's so much rich dialogue in these last 2 episodes that
seriously,
if his chip was still in, I'd just be like, what was the point of all that? Like, come on.
That's a good point. But it really, like, there's no way. I mean, well, so no.
He said, I'm going to give you.
He said,
I'm going to give you what you didn't give me, a choice. He gives them a choice, and then
it was good.
Hunter's like, all right, dude, I'm going to give you a choice, and they just go their separate ways. Like that to me, I don't know.
No.
I don't know if it's any clearer that he's just on his own free will.
I don't know, because like I don't know if like he could. I think he could still shoot them, shoot his like his squad, only because this is the Bad Batch we're talking about. They are famously deviant in terms of how the chip affects them. Even if it got turned up to 11, it still wasn't 100% affecting him. But he still, as a person, this is the nature versus nurture conversation. Like in his nature, I believe Crosshair agrees with the Empire, and like that's part of the problem here, right? Because like, as we've seen, even if that's true and he doesn't have the chip, it's a no-win. Whether he has the chip or not, he's not going to be a person who ideologically agrees with the Bad Batch.
He's not going to get very far without his rifle because Hunter took it.
He can get far. I gotta do this giveaway.
All right, AJ, do your giveaway. Pop quiz though, really quick. What kind of rifle does Crosshair have?
Oh, no. I don't know.
This is a fun one.
I've never done this thing,
what's the
so I don't know
model
how
called?
this is gonna look.
Oh.
What model is Crosshair's rifle? This is not.
Is it a DT series?
I don't know that. I just know the cool name.
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
So it's not like the rifle like designation name. Okay.
No, I don't know that information. I only know the cool name.
Oh, it has a nickname.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
I did this up with
I didn't
shirt for this long.
I don't think they ever actually say it in the show, unfortunately. So.
Oh, okay. Then how do
what
you
is it?
know it from like
because
a book
I
or a
look
Lego
too
set?
far into things.
Okay.
It's probably in like a description of a concept art of like the model breakdown.
You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
It's called a fire puncher. Isn't that the coolest name of a gun you ever
Yeah,
heard?
that's a cool name, but I have no
Incredible.
idea.
Fire
That was the
puncher.
thing.
I don't
Fire
know.
puncher.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Apparently,
That's
though, it's
pretty
shown in
on
the
the
Rebels.
nose.
So it
look.
already existed.
Punch something. I think EMA Clone Humor got it. Punch something.
Punch
You
something.
knew.
Yeah. Very close. Punch
Nice.
something. There you go.
Closer than any of us.
That's what Crosshair
Fire
wants to do.
puncher. I never in a million years would have guessed that.
I
Yeah,
thought
did you
his
figure it out?
thumbnail was the Drake meme.
Yeah, I
and
went
now
to a
know
new
it's
one.
Spider. I'm shook.
Okay, so AJ, cue it up for our giveaway. Maybe? Or you just want to say it? Oh.
No, I'll share it. Just show that it's fair.
There it is.
Kevin.
Kevin!
Oh
Yay!
Hey.
Well, send us a message and we'll send you a headband.
And I don't think you have one,
Giveaway.
so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. And then thank you everyone who did also comment. Thank you guys so much. If you want Hunter headbands, we do sell them. Links in bio as well. I will probably be making them for the foreseeable future. And I think Kevin mentioned it at some point earlier in the stream, actually, if I'm going to make tech armor. And I'm like, that's funny. Enfys Nest first.
Yeah. Okay.
Enfys Nest first.
Right, yeah.
That cool. I've spent too much money on that already in order to jump to something different. So
the helmet's in progress.
The helmet for Enfys is in progress. And
bring the axe down, Jamie.
The axe is coming. The Electro Ripper is coming. Enfys's weapon, which is back there. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching our live streams. Thank you, all new nerds, for doing this with us this season. We've loved having you guys on, and it has been an honor. Thank you.
A pleasure.
Like it's been so much fun, and thank you so much for watching our live stream, guys. This is the first time we did like live reacts at the end of a season, and we're just like so happy. AJ, got something else to add?
I have another thank you to our friend 10.
The Holonet Marauders.
AJ,
everyone?
I'm being profound, and you play that.
That's our brand. Jamie B's profound, and I'm just
Tem is a brand in himself.
Anyway, thank you guys. Just like we love you so much.
It's been an amazing 15 weeks.
We'll be back with more HMLs in the future with new shows, and we'll be doing the podcast. So stick around. We'll be around. See ya.
Thanks, guys.